We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 277. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my left today is the current reigning, how shall I introduce you, dual champion. He is both the Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion and the Scholars of Wrestling Party Champion, Brian Two Belts. Scholar Brian. How's your night going, sir?
It is going extremely well. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because of these babies right here.
Yes.
It was such a great night at Survivor Series that we had to take a week off because I couldn't actually be here because I was drunk off the power, baby. That's it.
Yes, and that little Thanksgiving holiday thing. But yes, it was a good past couple weeks for you, wasn't it, Scholar Brian?
Yes. So good.
Yeah.
So good. And the only regret I have is that the two people who I most want to rub their faces in this victory, could not be here. And let's face it, it's not as fun to rub it in your face if you're not in the vicinity.
Oh, something tells me they will not be too far behind. But you know what? We need to carry on the spirit of it, because you know what? The Scholars of Wrestling engine continues to roll on here in the Scholars Lounge.
Always.
So we need to pick up some slack, especially when there's so many goings on in the wrestling world. What kind of scholars will we be if we didn't address it in a little segment we like to call Backstage News, where we peek behind that curtain and we check in on a little thing we like to call
Backstage News.
Echo.
Thanksgiving, man.
And you know what? There is a lot to actually give thanks for in the wrestling world this week, because the rumors have been circulating for some time, but now the talks have finally been confirmed. John Morrison, a.k.a. Johnny Nitro, a.k.a. Johnny Mundo, a.k.a. Johnny whatever.
All the Johnnies. The mayor of Slamtown. Yes, he has indeed, finally, after we spoke about it, what was it, 3 months ago?
Yeah, and then nothing ever came of it.
Nothing ever came of it. He squashed the rumors, but here's my problem. Okay, my problem's not with the signing. The signing's awesome. I've been waiting for it for years now. Mm-hmm. I expected him to do a Drew McIntyre before Drew McIntyre did a Drew McIntyre. That's it. Mm-hmm. My problem is with the way that it was announced. Okay, like, I get it. Okay, you want WWE Backstage to be that kind of show. Or whatever, where you can announce free agent signings and contracts being signed and all that noise. That's all well and good.
It's almost like they want WWE Backstage to be a news show of some sort.
To be like a Sports Center type deal, and that's all well and good.
A place for backstage news. I mean, come on, what kind of show does that, really?
That's all well and good. That's fine. Okay, but with something of this magnitude, like what they did the first week was fine. The Miz has resigned. Mm-hmm. Paige has resigned.
Yay.
Okay, that's cool. But if it's something that'll get a crowd pop, like at a Royal Rumble, per se, like, with this kind of show going, we're never going to get that Chris Jericho Royal Rumble entry to number 2 pop that actually shook the building. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's never going to happen. Especially if they're announcing free agent signings, not from a company like this. That's my only complaint. As far as John Morrison signing with the WWE, it's a good get.
Absolutely.
It's a really good get. There's a lot of matches. There's a lot of good matches that Ricochet. Okay. A lot of the people on Raw like Carrillo. You could probably get Carrillo over better than having him lose every week to AJ. But it's not. You can't really say more than we said in September when we first thought that he signed. There's a lot of good matches that he can have on any brand. He could fit anywhere. Probably the best fit he could have, NXT, of course. But he's got people on all three brands that he could set. And of course, you got to think there's going to be a dirt sheet kind of deal going on
Some
here.
things just write themselves, let's be real.
Yeah, so it's like, this is a good get. I'm excited for the future. Just let's keep like re-signing. Like The Miz re-signed for 3 years. Yeah, we put that on the WWE Sports Center show. Okay, if it's something that'll get a surprise pop at like a big event, okay, let's not announce that person signing on WWE backstage. I get it, but
I don't think we're going to be fair, I don't think we're going to be seeing too many of those in the near future, specifically because we've got 2 months until the Royal Rumble happens, especially after next week. I think they're going to save any extra surprises for the Royal Rumble.
But that's also kind of my point. It's like this would have been a good surprise pop for a Royal Rumble entry.
True.
And you could
But
and it's one of those surprise pop. He's also in with Kofi. We're going to get dueling non-eliminations. That's it.
to be fair, maybe the solution is that they also have another surprise plan or two planned for the Royal Rumble.
They either have a surprise or two planned for the Royal Rumble, or they have something for John Morrison that involves him not in the Royal Rumble.
Hey, either way, it means that something's planned. So
something's
I'll take it.
Something's planned, yeah. But let's not make a habit of
I don't think we will.
introducing big new signings on WWE backstage. Big re-signings, yes, please do. but
Well, hey, not for nothing. There is another little bit of brand new announcements that happened this week. This time on AEW. Did you happen to check out AEW recently?
Indeed, I have.
Well, as it was announced by Chris Jericho himself.
Little bit of the bubbly.
Yes, he has officially announced that he is releasing, this is a real thing, a little bit of the bubbly, sparkling white wine.
And if you actually read the release statement, the actual, you would have been confused because his partner in this venture, was supposed to be on WWE Backstage this week. His partner in this venture is Stephen Amell.
I saw that.
Who is the Green Arrow and was also supposed to be on WWE Backstage, but he pinched a nerve in his back while doing while filming the last season of Arrow, so he couldn't make it. But yeah, anything this dude touches turns to money. I swear to God. Because what was it? A weekend? It sold 12,000 bottles.
Yeah. 12,000 bottles, 2 of which are mine, by the way. So we're going to be celebrating the Royal Rumble, our Royal Rumble soiree, gala soiree viewing party with a little bit of the bubbly.
Little bit of the bubbly. Yes.
Yes. hopefully they should be in by the end of the year. But this is genuinely exciting and just a little funny thing.
This is.
I hope it's good.
This just tells you. Okay, if you weren't sure of it before, you're a moron. But if you weren't sure of it now, you're sure of it before. You're sure of it now. Okay, anything this guy touches. Okay. Anything this guy says, anything this guy does, there's a reason he is the champion. A lot of people are like, oh, you got 50-year-old as your first champion. Okay, there's a reason, and this is the reason. Okay,
Jericho is money.
He randomly says a statement. It gets over so big, he gets his own T-shirt. He releases the product that he was speaking of. His very own version of it, and it sells 12,000 bottles in the first weekend. If you don't think this guy is a legend, you're a moron. There's nothing else to say. Nothing. Okay.
How much you want to bet that the people who are criticizing this move are the same people lining up for Hulk Hogan's Pasta Mania back in the day?
Yeah, almost not a doubt.
Hey, if you're getting what you want, hey, who am I to judge? But elsewhere, speaking of getting what you want, WWE is, rumors are abound. They've been setting this up and field testing it. The WWE Network is set to roll out a new tiered system, starting with a free version, which contains just like WWE.com style videos, the current model, which is just as it is, and then a slightly more expensive model that includes shows from other promotions like Evolve and ICW and that sort of thing.
Well, I can update this on the rumors. Okay, today, as we are filming this on Thursday the 5th. Today, they released that free tier.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Right before we went on.
According to Wrestling Observer Live, it was released this afternoon.
Oh dear.
So it isn't a rumor anymore.
Wow.
It's happening. Which brings that sudden idea of we're stopping the hidden gems. We're stopping the addition of additional hidden gems. Why? Here you go. It's going to be on that more expensive tier.
That's joy.
That's what's going to happen.
And you know what? There's going to be people out there who are absolutely willing to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. But the only problem is, okay, the WWE is very close to dropping under 1 million subscribers. And this feels like a way to excuse that, because we're going to have a certain amount of people on this tier. We're going to have a certain amount of people on this tier. And we're going to have another certain amount of people on this tier. And they're not going to... So 1 million total subscribers isn't going to be a big deal anymore. They're going to be going by how many are on each tier.
And you know what? From a business standpoint, that's smart, because they're actually capitalizing on the diehards who are willing to pay for that much. And let's face it, there's a lot of us who are willing to pay that much for shows from Evolve and ICW and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a great resource, and it's actually, depending on how much they're charging for all these extra shows, I'm not going to lie, it sounds tempting.
What it's probably going to be is you're going to have the free tier, you're going to have the $9.99 for the basic, and it'll probably be like $15.
I was going to say 15 sounds like a good number. I may actually take them up on it if it's like 15
because it seems like it's a Hulu type of deal. Like it's $10 a month for the ads version. It's $15 for to get no ads, just go right through and whatever. And so it's like, it seems like it's that kind of deal. So I mean, get ahead of the people who are gonna shit talk you, I guess, because subscriptions are dropping. So get ahead of it by making this tiered system, and then we'll see how it does with your stock price. So yeah, it's a good business move. We'll see how it works in the long run.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the long run, we still have a Monday Night Raw from this past week, starting with my personal favorite aspect of the entire show this past Monday, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens doing anything, whether he's just talking on the mic or interacting with Lana Rusev and Lashley and all of them, and just totally calling out Lana.
See, I can't.
Oh, baby.
I cannot give the. Kevin Owens is part of the Kevin Owens Lana. I can say that I totally enjoyed. Okay, but I can't give a pass to Lana on this one. I can't. That was horrid.
Yeah,
that was so bad. That was.
Thankfully, we had someone out there with her who could just completely rescue the entire segment.
But if you can't tell right now that Kevin Owens is like, he is the guy on Raw. He's the guy. Put the title on him. That's it. Okay, that's
done.
Like, I could honestly say, okay, Kevin Owens, go out there and beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. But it's not going to happen because you want that money match. So it's probably going to be either Kane or Tyson Fury. But
I hope not.
Kane Velasquez or Tyson Fury. So I don't put my hopes up for that. But yeah, Kevin Owens right now, okay, I don't like that they're still trying to portray Seth Rollins as a babyface. I'm like, I know where this is headed. It's 100% that I think that it's going to be Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens versus AOP at TLC, and that'll be the point where Seth Rollins is revealed to be behind the AOP attacks on Kevin Owens. But I have a feeling that's where this is going, because you cannot, like, as of right now, he's in a worse position than Roman Reigns ever was. Seth Rollins. Like, if there was ever anybody who needed to be turned heel immediately.
You know what the strange part is? I'm hearing that idea, and I don't hate it.
Yeah, here's the thing, okay? If you're gonna have Seth Rollins Twitter troll as his actual character in WWE, just have his entire presence on Twitter become his WWE character. Okay, that's gold right there. Okay, and it's just, and have him being the driving force behind what AOP is doing. Yeah. It'll be the new age version of the new age better version of J&J. Security, and they've already got the suits. Let's go. And so you have that going on. Okay, I realize you want to drag it out, but at this point, okay, everyone's booing him already. Everyone's behind the heel turn of Rollins already.
Seth Rollins, yes.
Already. So just pull the trigger, man. That's it. Every time he's in the back trying to pull these babyface promos, all that. I'm a leader. That kind of deal. Okay,
Nope.
it's no. No, it's not believable. Stop it. That's it.
Hey,
So,
as long as it looks like they're turning Kevin Owens into that face that they want, a good enough face to counteract them, Seth rather, I think we got something here. I really do.
it's no doubt that we have something, and it's going to be a good something when it actually happens. But it's one of those just you should have pulled the trigger last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after you did that promo at the beginning, just railing everybody. Okay, we don't. Not everything needs to be dragged out. Not everything. You should have Seth Rollins involved in the beatdown at the end. Just have all three of them. Just have Seth Rollins act like he's gonna defend Kevin Owens, and then turn around and beat his ass. That's it. And then you have your heel turn. You don't have to do heel turns on pay-per-views only. That's it. That's the WWE's recent problem. Okay, they drag everything out to the point that when they actually pull the trigger, it's like, huh. Okay. When instead you could have had money right from the get-go last week, and just have Seth Rollins turn around and beat his ass instead of having just AOP take him out and then Seth Rollins just do a curb stomp and get the win and we're done. That's it. Just have a Full Sail beatdown. Have them do some kind of Shield-like maneuver on Kevin Owens, and there's your new team up. Seth Rollins the heel, AOP is his bodyguards, and you have the storyline right there. But instead, we're gonna waste 3 weeks and have it happen at the pay-per-view instead.
Now, when you talk about some of the worst things that WWE is doing lately, I thought you were originally going to go into the Rusev line.
Oh, it's coming. Because let me put this out there for you. And stay with me on this one because it's going to get weird.
I'm riveted.
Okay. So, Seth Rollins leaves after Kevin Owens doesn't want to team up with him against AOP. Fine. Whatever. Kevin Owens is like, I'm not facing AOP. I'm not facing Seth Rollins. I'm going to face anybody. Who wants a piece? Bobby Lashley comes out. And Lana has stated that Rusev has a new restraining order against him for her. Okay, fine. Well and good. There are police officers with Lana. Fine. Good. Okay. Continuity. It's good stuff. Fine. Here's where it gets weird.
Do tell.
End of the match. Rusev comes in through the crowd. Cops do nothing. Okay? Mm-hmm. Rusev comes in, beats the shit out of Bobby Lashley. Cops do nothing. Rusev leaves through the crowd. Cops slowly start to walk towards the ring. Bobby Lashley, understandably, gets pissed. Because, hey, Rusev has a restraining order against him for me and Lana. Accidental bumping of the shoulder.
Well,
of the cop for the cop. Okay.
Yeah, isn't
now
that
the
a
cop,
felony in 3 states?
Now the cop, that would be fine if that's actually what he got arrested for. What he got cuffed for. That's what they said he got cuffed for. But here are the exact words that this cop says, and I quote, I am a WWE fan. This is Tennessee, and we do things different here.
Do you, though?
So, you don't arrest the guy who is disobeying a restraining order. But you do arrest. But you do arrest the man he beat the shit out of and tried to murder last week. If we forget about that. That's it.
Well, yeah, apparently it's a law in Tennessee where you can get arrested just for being a douche in public.
And Lana, I understand. Because she full out just open hand slapped this cop. Okay, fine. That one, fine. But they arrested the victim of an attack by a guy who has a restraining order that prohibits him from getting anywhere near the guy he attacked.
Makes perfect sense.
Can this end? Can this end? It gets dumber every week. Every week. You think it can't get worse. But somehow they prove you wrong every week.
They better have some sort of big payoff to this. I'm a big believer in you can do just about anything in wrestling as long as the payoff, it's got the proper payoff.
This one, I don't know. I don't know at this point what the proper payoff is. I don't know.
Clearly, it's not on a pole match. Here's TLC. Come on.
It's like, at this point, just based on the evidence, just based on what has happened, I don't know who the villain and who the bad guy and who the good guy is, because Rusev's pretty fucked up. So it's like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for. And if I'm supposed to be rooting for Rusev, I don't know, man. That's it. This is just,
I'm telling you, it's all going to result in a Lana on a pole match. Lana on a pole match. Book it, WWE. We'll revisit this next week during our TLC prediction show. We'll see what we got.
Just anytime Lana, Rusev, or Lashley come out, I just know that my brain is going to start dribbling out of my ears, because nothing in that next 15 minutes is going to make reality sense at all. So it's like, and it's one of you can't turn your brain off at that point. At this point, okay, I could turn my brain off if it's fun. If what I'm watching is fun. Okay? This is not. It's not. This is just one of those, please. Okay? It's ruining everyone involved. Let's
just wait until
kill it off at TLC.
Just again, you'll feel better when they actually do the Lana on a pole match.
Will I though?
Because you absolutely will.
Because I feel the way that they've been going with this storyline, they're gonna screw that up too.
But, we'll see. We've got plenty of room to do something until then.
And just so we make it clear, okay, for anyone expecting me to put these titles on the line at TLC, okay? How can I? We are a week and a half out. Nothing is scheduled for this pay-per-view. Nothing. What did we have on Raw? Okay, we had this. We had Charlotte. I actually think that was the best match of the night, even though
It
it had
actually
no
was.
business being. It's a handicap match. It had no business being as close as it was. But if you're gonna do it well, and they did. So I'll give it that. Okay, the wrestling on this show was good.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, it
The
was.
problem is that this was the definition of an enhancement. Raw. Okay, a lot of basic squash matches. Okay, they got offense in, but you knew who was gonna win and who was gonna lose, and that's all well and good. That's fine. Not a week and a half before the pay per view. You need to, if you're gonna only have 3 weeks in between Survivor Series and TLC. Okay. I need to see some matches. Man, I need to see some build. I don't need, this isn't AEW or NXT where you have 3 months in between pay-per-views, so a week of enhancement TV is fine, and it's not gonna affect your enjoyment because you know that something big is supposed to be coming up soon. Okay, with Raw, okay, if I didn't know that TLC was next Sunday, okay, this Raw would have given me no clue that a pay-per-view was coming up this Sunday, and that's a problem. Okay, there is nowhere on this earth should at any time. They did this at Hell in a Cell, and look how bad that turned out. Where nothing was announced. Like, are they gonna announce 5 matches an hour before the pre-show starts again?
I
Is
certainly
that
hope
where we're
not.
going? Because I am not happy with this build right now. I am not happy. They don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. So Gollum, my precious. No, the year is over for Scholar's title defenses. That's it.
Hey, but then everything will come roaring back the next month with the Royal Rumble anyway, so
That's all well and
fine.
good. That's all well and good. But I live in the now. And looking forward is all well and good, but knowing that I'm gonna get a shit pay-per-view next week really grinds my gears.
Well, speaking of grinding gears, let's switch gears and move over to AEW where some actual good things are happening. Starting with a wonderfully old school kind of grudge match challenge from Cody to MJF, where he just got so heated he's putting his watch, his shoes, some of his own cash on the line just to get him to fight.
Now, a caveat. Let me throw this out there. I'm not pissed off about it, like a whole bunch of geeks on the Twitter and Reddit and Facebook are.
What are you talking about specifically?
This was a ripoff of a Ric Flair promo to get a match. I forget who it was against, but this was almost word for word, line for line once he started the I have a watch, I have the keys to my truck, that kind of deal. This was that. Okay, but okay, he sold it. It wasn't a minor league version of that. That if you're gonna rip something off, okay, make it good, make it authentic, make it yours. And I believe that Cody pulled this off.
Yeah, absolutely. This came across more as just like an old school homage than anything else, and as far as a straight ripoff. Like you said, he made it his own, and it was It's one of those everything old is new again type of deals to me. I liked it very much.
Yeah. Now, okay, my one problem with AEW has and always will be, okay, that thing that they put up, MJF's response on social media, you can't do that. You can't do that on social media. You can't. It has to be on your TV show. It has to be. No.
Did you even hear? Hold on. They can always air it as a part of Dynamite or on AEW.
But
Dark
here's the problem. Okay, don't do it on AEW Dark. Not everybody watches that. If you have 2 hours on national television, okay, and I do agree with you. If you're gonna do it on social media, do it on Dynamite the week after. Here's the problem. They never do. Since the inception, they've done it once. Okay. And I forget what it was, but they did it once. But all the stuff, the Pac last week issuing the rematch challenge after Kenny Omega beat him in his rematch. Doing you can do whatever you want. You can get all your rematches because you're the EVP or whatever. Well, the bastard wants what's his. He wants his rematch. Didn't see that on Dynamite. Okay, the one I know when they did it. When they at the beginning of the when they showed it like 2 hours before the show. When they announced that Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega was going to be lights out. And Jon Moxley flipped out as his right. They showed that at the beginning of the show. That was released on social media beforehand. But I get it. You're working out the kinks. You're doing all this. You're doing all that. But if it's a major storyline, Cody Rhodes MJF is going to be your semi-main event at whatever your next pay-per-view is. Okay? You cannot have MJF's response to Cody Rhodes be on social media. Especially if you're not, as statistics say, okay, they have not shown stuff that they put on social media on the main show. So if they're not going to do that, you can't have that on social media. It has to be, it doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be in the same segment. It doesn't have to be anything like, it doesn't have to be close to that. But before the Moxley Janela match, you throw that in there.
I see where you're going for, but there's still room for, again, to me it still depends on how they stick the landing. I think there's still plenty of wiggle room there, and certainly plenty enough talent that they can always rebound from it if need be, or build upon the foundation that they've set.
And that's fine. I know that they have 3 months. Okay, I know that this feud has got to pop off. It's Cody Rhodes and MJF. Of course it's going to be. But, okay, this is across the board. Okay, if sticking the landing, the end is all well and good. But if you're missing something in the build-up, it does take away from the whole piece of the pie. So, if MJF is going to be a bitch and not respond to and not accept your challenge, okay, not on social media. Everything minor, not involved in one of your two biggest feuds going in. Anything that involves Cody Rhodes and MJF and Moxley Jericho should never be on social media. If those are going to be your two co-main events, for your next big show, for your next pay-per-view. Everything that has to do with those two feuds should be Dynamite exclusive. No social media, no dark.
That being said, what did you think of the other major announcement from this past week, which is Chris Jericho's next contender for the AEW title, Jungle Boy?
Here's the deal. Okay, you can't have Jericho and Moxley. It's a 3-month build. Okay, you need some stuff in between for the champion to do. If Jericho is all about getting people over. So Jungle Boy's obviously not going to win.
True enough.
But he's going to last the 10 minutes. That's what this isn't about, the championship. Based off of just listening to the promo and everything over there. Okay, Jericho said that Jungle Boy can't last 10 minutes with him. Jungle Boy says, I can and I will last 10 minutes. Like, they never once mentioned a championship in there. So it's like, yeah, it might be for the championship, but it's more about lasting 10 minutes. So I'm thinking December 18th, we're going to a 10-minute draw.
I think there might be.
We're going to a 10-minute draw, or Jungle Boy is going to last 11 minutes and get pinned or submitted. Which therein gets Jungle Boy over because he lasted 10 minutes with Jericho, who said he couldn't. Bam! Storytelling. Basic. We're good. And then you have the obvious, which is Moxley staring at you from the crowd. Because we're not going to get... Moxley and Jericho aren't going to throw hands into the new year. Once the new year starts, we go full bore into that storyline. Until then, we'll get the stare downs that we've been getting. Okay, we'll get the lexicon of Le Champion, which, glorious, by the way. But as an aside, it's like, this is fine. It's basic storytelling. Okay, we're not expecting Jungle Boy to become champion. We don't want Jungle Boy to become champion. Well, yet. He's not there yet. I don't want that either. He's not there yet. So,
if anything, Luchasaurus deserves it ahead of him.
Yeah, and he's setting up for a feud with Jake Hager, which yes.
Yes, very yes.
So, this is fine. It's an aside. It's fine.
Yes. But meanwhile, it looks like NXT is just already diving into the thick of it with a whole bunch of setups for number one contenders matches or number one contenders, period. Including Rhea Ripley as the number one contender for the women's championship. And honestly, I'm just going to put this out there. I think she can do it.
She will.
She's the one.
Shayna will be on the main roster by the new year. This is what
she's due.
This is the only person who I could see ever taking the title off of Shayna Baszler at this point is Rhea Ripley.
If it's not her, then it's not going to be anybody else. It needs to be her.
It's got to be the first time. It's got to be. There's no reason to drag this out. You had her beat Shayna Baszler in a 2-on-4 scenario at War Games. She pinned Charlotte. She pinned Sasha Banks. She went toe-to-toe with Becky Lynch. This is what, a 5-day span?
She came to play.
She legitimately might be the most over person. Like, NXT guys are the most over people in the entire damn company right now. Rhea Ripley on the women's side, Keith Lee on the men's side. So, I've got Ripley winning on the 18th. I do. And then Shayna Baszler will be up, and you can start building towards that 4 horsewomen battle at WrestleMania.
I'm sure.
Unless they're going for the singles match with Lynch and Rousey at WrestleMania. Either way, it's fine. But Baszler will be up on the main roster by the new year.
And finally, we also have a setup for another number 1 contender match, a triple threat between Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, and Finn Balor.
This is a little different. Okay, because we all know the end game here is Cole versus Ciampa. Ciampa gets his title back. That's the end game here. So Ciampa isn't winning here because they're going to save that for the next takeover. Okay, so it comes down to all 3 of these guys are going to get title shots before or at takeover. And it won't be a triple threat match at takeover. So I think that they're going to go with the hot hand first. They're going to give Lee the title shot first. Lee will get the title shot on the 18th. Okay. He will lose via shenanigans.
Okay.
And then he goes for the tag team titles with Djokovic, and he gets them off the Undisputed Era. So that's where I'm going with it. Then you'll have Cole versus Balor at some point in between, probably like a super show in January or something. And then Ciampa will get his title back at the next actual takeover. All 3 of these guys, I believe, are going to get title matches in the next 3 months. Right now, you go with the hot hand, the one that people want. And that, quite obviously, is Keith Lee. So, you just had him pin the champion. You're going to have him pin the champion and then have him lose.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. I think it's safe. I don't think he's ready to be NXT champion yet. But you give him that spot. You give him the opportunity. He's the hot hand right now. Yeah. So you give him the opportunity, you have him go. And next week, the 18th is going to be a big show. Lee will win this match. He will come up just short via shenanigans against Cole.
Okay. That's what I want to see happen. I'm not so convinced that that's the sequence of events that they're going to book, but I'm not going to deny that it's certainly plausible.
All I know is that the 18th isn't going to be Ciampa. That's all I know, because they're saving that for the pay-per-view.
Right. So all that being considered, we look at this week in wrestling. Which one was the show of the week in your eyes?
NXT was the most steady. There was nothing overwhelmingly bad. I had my issues with some things in AEW. I did. It's getting repetitive with the factions. Like, a lot of factions are popping up, and they're a lot of the same type of stuff. So it's like, and I could do without the Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong and that nonsense. We did that already in WWE. That's the most WWE thing that AEW has going right now. And it's the segments are never good whenever it happens. So it's like that's automatically a down point for AEW. NXT was mostly right down the middle. Most of 95% of it was awesome. I wasn't a fan of the Xia Li and Shayna Baszler match. But other than that,
I just like seeing Xyla on my TV.
other than that, I had no issues with NXT. So I think NXT was the better show.
I will say NXT. I'm going to say NXT as well. However, I would be remiss if I didn't give a special honorable mention to SmackDown this past week, if for no other reason than we got a remix of the Muscle Man dance and crazy conspiracy theorist Bray.
And are we getting bald Daniel Bryan? Is that what we're getting?
I suspect we're going to be getting that.
Are we getting the American Dragon?
It would be tremendous if we did for the rematch between him and The Fiend. That could take it up to another level. Although I have to admit, I will miss Evil Jim Henson.
Yes, I will miss. I hope he keeps the beard, because that's where goat face comes from.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure we'll find out as of this week, tomorrow night on SmackDown, to see what was become of Daniel Bryan. But until then, now you have heard what we think. Now we're turning it over to you, our wrestling listening and viewing audiences. Wherever you are, all across the internet, let us know what you think. Facebook, YouTube, and of course the Twitter machines. Let your voice be heard. And of course, you can also talk to us on our personal Twitter accounts, starting with @ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads. You can also check all the Scholars out at all of our individual Twitter accounts, starting with Scholar Tarek at the Avataric. Brian Two Belts, where you got?
You can find me yelling at Scholar in Training Charlie, telling him to #shut up Charlie over and over and over again
Ad nauseum.
Atomic Beanpole.
And you can check me out at I'm Robbie Rage. Follow us all, join the conversation, because things are only heating up in the world of wrestling, and we're going to be here to discuss every single little bit of it. And next week is hopefully going to be a prediction show, maybe.
Depending on if we have any matches.
But hey, if they're out there, you know we're going to predict them, because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you all next time.
Shut up, Charlie.